Hello dear learners, welcome to SWAYAM NPTEL course on Methodology of Educational Research, and today we will talk about the lecture 56 on citation through references, bibliography and annotated references. This is lecture 56, and before going to lecture we will go through the concepts covered. Earlier we had covered the research report writing, its meaning and purpose, then its importance and also the structure of research report writing. So, let us start with the citation. Here the citation sources is critically requirement in the technical and research report writing to support a statement of fact or opinion. It establishes that the researcher is familiar with the existing knowledge, eliminates the risk of duplicating previous works and also provides a background for the current research. So, the concept of citation and in-text citation is very much important to be understood. So, let us start with the citation. The concept of citation is formal reference to a published or unpublished source that you consulted and obtained information from while writing your research paper. It refers to a source of information that supports a factual statement, proposition, argument or assertion or any quoted text obtained from a book, article, website or any other type of print or online material. A citation can also refer to a non-textual source such as photograph, map, chart, graph, etc. used in your research paper, assignment and whatever task you are submitting. Now, the in-text citations, these are embedded within the body of your paper and used as a shorthand notation style that refers to a complete description of the item, the bibliographic information in a list of reference at the end of the paper. So, material cited at the end of a paper may be listed under the heading of references, sources or work cited or bibliography, and the rules on how to properly cite a source depends on the writing styles of the manual your professors or teachers wants to use for the class, for example, APA style, MLA, Chicago or any other prescribed citation style. So, note that some disciplines have their own citation rules like law and medicine. Now, the need of citations. Citations are not decorative academic rituals. So, you have to remember that they are the nervous system of scholarly communication. Without them, research becomes storytelling. With them, it becomes knowledge building. So, following are the point wise need of citations, why we need the citation in our academic writing. First of all, the knowledge intellectual ownership. To acknowledge this intellectual ownership, citations give credit to original authors for their ideas, data and theories. This respects the intellectual property and avoids the plagiarism. Knowledge grows cumulatively and citation makes that lineage visible. The second need is to demonstrate academic integrity. When you cite properly, you show transparency about where your idea originates. Academic integrity is not just ethical compliance, it is true building within the scholarly community. The third need is to support arguments with the evidence. Claims without sources are opinions only. Citations anchors arguments in empirical research, theory or authoritative scholarship. They convert assertion into substantiated reasoning. The fourth point is to enable verification. Research must be verifiable. So, for the verification, citations allow readers to trace the original source, examine the methodology and evaluate whether your interpretation is accurate or not. This aligns with the scientific method. Claims must be open to scrutiny. The fifth need is to situate research within existing literature. So, for that no study exists in isolation, we know all that. Citations position your work within a scholarly conversation, showing how your study confirms, challenges or extends prior research. This demonstrates theoretical grounding and conceptual clarity. The sixth need is avoid plagiarism. Plagiarism, either intentional or unintentional, undermines the credibility of the author or the researcher. Proper citation prevents intellectual misappropriation and protects the researcher's reputation. The seventh need is to strengthen the credibility and authority. A well cited paper signals the depth of reading and engagement with the field. It shows that the conclusions are not arbitrary, but informed by the established scholarship. Here scholarship meant scholarly work. The eighth need is to encourage further learning. Citations creates pathways for the readers. They allow students, scholars and the practitioners to explore foundational or advanced works for the deeper understanding. Ninth need is to build academic dialogue. Research is cumulative and dialogic. Citations connect ideas across the time and discipline, forming networks of knowledge that advance theory and practice. Next point is to meet scholarly standards. Academic writing follows established conventional either APA, MLA, Chicago or any other type of referencing styles. Proper citation ensures compliance with the disciplinary norms and publication requirements. So, we can think of it in this way that citation is equal to the complete acknowledgement system and in-text citation is the signal inside the paragraph pointing towards the full reference. Now, citation versus in-text citation. Here I have given the table comparing the citation versus in-text citation. Many times researcher have many type of confusion regarding the citation and in-text citation. So, for that clarification this comparison table is here and you can go through the comparative table for the proper understanding. Because in research methodology courses clarifying this distinction prevents a common student error. Providing references without corresponding in-text citation or vice versa. Such mismatches weaken academic rigor and may lead to unintentional plagiarism according to Neville in 2010. So, if you want to not be called unintentional plagiarized content creator, so please be clear about the citation and in-text citation. When students understand this structurally, they begin to see citation not as a formatting, but as a epistemologically accountability, a transparent map of intellectual influence. Now, citation through references. In our syllabus, we are having three things: citation through references and bibliography as well as annotated references. So, here citation through references. A reference is detailed description of the source of information that you want to give credit to via a citation. The references in research paper are usually in the form of a list of at the end you have given in your paper. The essential difference between the citation and reference is that citations lead a reader to the source of information, while references provide the reader with the detailed information regarding that particular source. So, citing the sources through references involve using in-text citations, author with year, to identify borrowed information, matching them to a full bibliographic list at the end of work. It ensures the academic integrity, avoids the plagiarism and also allows readers to locate original sources. Common style includes the APA, MLA and Chicago etc. And here in educational researches we follow the APA style of referencing and other social sciences also use it, emphasizing the author and the date. Now, the common components of the reference entry, we have to remember that who, the authors or the organization, when, the date of publication, what, the title of the article, chapter or the book, and where, the source of location like journal, title, DOI number, URL or the publisher's information. Now, general format and examples. In general, in APA style, we follow the author's or organization's name and date, title of the work with the URL, and for a website, like we give the name of the website, and also we give the home page of that website. For a specific report, here I have mentioned that the name of the report and the publishing year, as well as the link of that published page. For the organization statement, like APA 2004 American Anthropological Association statement on Anthropology and Institutional Review Board, you will mention the statement and give the link. Now, these are the journal article references I have mentioned here, because for the sample you can go through it. Like journal article, you have to mention the author's last name, then their first and second name, and giving the comma with the year and the title and the journal name in italic, and lastly you mention the issue and journal's number, and then page number, and lastly give the DOI number if available, or the web address. So, similarly, the journal article in the with an article number, then whole authored book, like if you have writing the book, then author's name, year, then book's title and the publisher, and if that is available online, you can give the link. Then whole edited book, here in edited book we have to mention the editors, then in bracket you have to mention the EDS, means editors, and the year, full stop, then the name of the book and the book chapter, and lastly give the link, or you can also mention the page number if available. Then the chapter in edited book, if you are going to give the reference, you mention the chapter in which book title, and with similarly we give the author's name with the year, and also if the book link is available, then give the link of the book, either DOI number or the available link. So, it depends on the type of publication. Chapter in an edited book, reprint from another book, you have to mention accordingly. So, sample I have given here, you please go through it, otherwise you follow the APA style referencing, the manual of APA 7, and you can follow. Now, there is a myth regarding no first person. So, we call it no first person myth, and every researcher should know that many writers believe that no first person myth, which is that writers cannot use first person pronouns such as I or we in an APA style paper. So, this myth implies that the writers must instead refer to themselves in the third person, like the author, the researcher or researchers, etc. However, APA style has no such rule against using first person pronouns and actually encourages their use to avoid the ambiguity in the attribution. When expressing your own views or the views of yourself and follow the authors, use the pronoun I or we and the like. So, similarly, when writing your paper, use first person pronoun when describing the work you did by yourself or work you and your fellow authors did together when conducting your research. For example, use we interviewed participants rather than the authors interviewed participants or the researchers used interviewed participants. So, here you can write I or we because you have conducted that research. When writing an APA style paper by yourself, use the first person pronoun like I to refer yourself and use the pronoun we when writing an APA style paper with others. Here are some phrases you might use in your paper like I think, I believe, I interviewed the participants, I analyzed the data, my analysis of data revealed, and we concluded. So, this kind of sentences like our results showed that, this kind of phrases you can use at the time of writing your research paper. And This guidance can be found in the section 4.16 of the Publication Manual of the American Psychological Association's 7th edition and section 2.16 of the Concise Guide of APA Style 7th edition. It represents a continuation of a long standing APA style guidance that began with the 2nd edition of the manual in 1974. Keep in mind that you should avoid using the editorial V to refer to people in general, so that it is clear to the readers to whom you are referring. Instead, use more specific nouns such as people or researchers. As always, defer to your instructor's guidelines when writing student papers. For example, your instructor may ask a student or your teacher may ask you to avoid using first person language. If so, follow that guideline for work in your class. Remember, go for the APA style writers using the first person when appropriate. If it is required, you can go with the first person. Now, citing through bibliography. Bibliography in research is more than a technical appendix at the end of document. It represents the intellectual landscape surrounding a study. If reference show what you used, a bibliography often shows that you engaged with what kind of content. For research scholars, especially at MAd or PhD level, understanding bibliography strengthens conceptual depth and scholarly maturity. Let us examine it systematically as in the next slide. Now, the meaning of bibliography. Bibliography is a structured list of sources consulted during the preparation of a research work. Unlike a reference list in APA style, it may include both cited and uncited works that inform the researcher's understanding of the topic. It is said by the APA 2020 and also Booth et al. In 2016. The term comes from the Greek word biblion, means book, and the graphia means writing, literally meaning writing about books. In research methodology, however, it includes books, journal articles, reports, theses, digital resources, archival documents and other scholarly materials. Now, the purpose of bibliography in research. A bibliography serves several academic purposes like demonstrating the breadth of reading. It shows that the researcher has engaged extensively with the field beyond the sources directly cited. It provides the intellectual context. It reflects the theoretical and conceptual background underpinning the study. The third point is supports scholarly transparency. Readers can identify additional materials that influence the research framework. The fourth one is encourages further exploration. It becomes a source for other scholars and the students who wish to explore the topic further. The fifth point is reflects academic thoroughness. A well developed bibliography signals depth of literature exploration, especially in doctoral research. The type of bibliography, the different types of bibliographies are there. The first one is enumerative bibliography, a simple list of sources with publication details. Then annotated bibliography, it includes a brief summary and critical evaluation of each sources. This is particularly useful during the proposal writing and literature review development. The third type of bibliography is analytical or critical bibliography. It examines the structure, additions and textual variations of works more common in literary and historical research. And the fourth one is thematic bibliography. Sources are grouped under the themes or subtopics helpful in large scale research projects. So, there are four types of bibliography, and now the bibliography versus references for the conceptual clarification. In APA 7th edition, the preference or it is preferred, the term is reference or references, which includes only cited sources. Bibliography is more common in Chicago and Chicago Manual and some humanities discipline. And you will find it the clear distinction between the references and the bibliography, like reference is equal to work cited in the text. Whatever we have cited in our text, only those will be coming under the references, whereas the bibliography is equal to works cited and or consulted. If you have not cited in your research paper or the assignment, but you have consulted, you can mention in the bibliography section. So, the bibliography is broader term than the reference, it includes the reference itself. This distinction is crucial for thesis writing supervision, as misleading or mislabeling sections can be reflect methodological inaccuracy. Even if this source were not directly cited in the text, it could appear in a bibliography if it informed the conceptual framework or conceptual understanding of the researcher. Now, the APA style preferring references over the bibliography, there you will find that according to the sources, APA style does not use a bibliography term, because it specifically requires a reference list instead. While the term prohibit may be strong, the style's requirements are designed to serve as a specific scientific and technical purpose that is standard bibliography does not fulfill. The reason for this requirement includes direct path to evidence. APA style refers or tries to refer a section consists strictly of the documents that have been specifically mentioned or cited in the text. The primary purpose is to provide the reader with a direct path to the evidence and data the author used to support their specific claims. Now, scientific accuracy and verification. It is also important that technical writing in fields like education and psychology requires precise support of a statement of fact or opinion. The reference list allows for the professional scrutiny and ensures that every listed source has a clear and documented relationship to the content of the manuscript. Avoidance of ineffective listing. It also provides that the sources suggest that parading a long list of studies is insufficient or ineffective. So, including additional materials that were not actually cited, which is what defines a bibliography, is seen as a not in keeping with the goal of providing a concise and relevant list of evidence. Another point is disciplinary standard. APA style is the most commonly accepted format for journals in the field of education and psychology. These disciplines prioritize a systematic author date method of documentation, where the list of sources such as functional tool for replication and validation rather than a general reading list. Thus, APA style favors a reference list because it ensures that only materials actually mentioned are included and maintaining a strict one-to-one correspondence between the research report and its supporting evidence. Now, here I have given the comparison table between the references and bibliography for your better understanding. If you want to study by comparison, so you can go through the different basis of comparison for the reference and bibliography, which will lead you to proper understanding of the both the terms, and in future when you will be choosing either the heading of reference or the bibliography, you will be able to justify that why you have used the term reference or the bibliography. Now, the citation sources through annotated references or annotated bibliography. What is an annotated bibliography? An annotated bibliography brings together your notes and your citation. It is a full list of all of your sources, including fully formatted citations and notes on how you will use the sources. Annotated bibliographies are common component of research projects. you to collect similar research prior to deciding which source to actually use for their research project. There are times when the annotated bibliographies are included at the end of research paper as a way to offer additional insight to the audience. The time it takes to complete an annotated bibliography is long, but the annotations themselves should be brief. An annotated bibliography can be completed in two simple steps. First one is cite your sources. The first part of each entry in your annotated bibliography should be a full and accurate source citation in whatever style your program or institution prefer to use. And the second step is write your annotation. A proper annotation has three parts. Remember, the annotation should be brief. Start by concisely summarizing the source. The second, then provide a critique and evaluation of the credibility of the source, and the third one is explain how you will use this source in your research paper. Now, here I have given the comparison table for the comparison of references, bibliography and annotated references. These three terms can be utilized in your upcoming researches for writing the in-text citation, and also for the references, whichever is suitable for your research you can go through it. Now, conceptually you can think of it like that: citation is the signal inside the text, reference is the address at the end, and bibliography is the intellectual journey, whereas the annotated reference is the address plus your critical reflection. So, for research methodology, emphasizing the distinction between reference list, bibliography is crucial because APA style primarily uses references section, not bibliography. Encouraging scholars to prepare annotated bibliography during proposal development significantly enhances the literature review quality because it forces analytical engagement rather than mechanical listing, said by Booth, Colomb and Williams in 2016. Now, the conclusion. So, after going through the discussion related with the citation, in-text citation and other terms, in conclusion we can state that the citation is epistemologically accountability. In APA style 7th edition, every in-text citation must correspond to a full reference entry, and every reference entry must have at least one in-text citation as per APA 2020. This one-to-one correspondence is essential for maintaining scholarly precision. In research writing, references, bibliography are often confused, yet they serve different intellectual purpose. One reflect what you actually use in your argument, and the other may reflect the entire intellectual journey behind your study. Understanding this distinction is crucial for the doctoral scholars and the teacher educators guiding thesis writing. Now, the references. Here I have given the references for your further reading. I hope this will help you for your better understanding. So, keep learning. Thank you.